Okay. All right. Welcome to Forgiveness. Welcome to Forgiveness, Faith, and Trust. All right. If I had to give a title to this particular video, it would be I Thought I Had More Time. I thought I had more time. So, when I was a new mom living in Lafayette, Louisiana, my daughter had just came home from a neonatal ICU. And in her coming home from the neonatal ICU, I learned a very valuable lesson about timing, obeying the Holy Spirit, and faith. So just as my daughter was running out of formula, another formula they give you when you come home from the hospital, I was running out of that formula. New mom, 23 years old. And I didn't have any more formula. Now, I didn't think to go to the grocery store and buy any more. That's crazy. All right, so I wrote down notes, and it says I began to understand that I was responsible for buying this formula, which at the time was $16 per can. Because she was a preemie and she needed a special kind of formula, it was $16 a can. So, as young girls during that time, they were saying, hey, you're a new mom, call the health unit, set up an appointment. You can get WIC. So that's what I did. One day, I called the health unit and see if I can set up an appointment. Well, the lady said, sure, you can come down and set up an appointment. Well, I didn't understand that I was just going there to set up the appointment. I thought I was going there for an appointment. No. I was going there to set up an appointment. But when I got there, I went in. The lady asked me what I was there for. I told her what I was there for. I put my name on the book. She said, you had an appointment? I said, no. She said, okay, well, you can set up an appointment. Okay, I said, all right. She said, here, fill out this paperwork. You can have a seat. Well, Taylor still had, I had her with me. She still had all these things connected to her from, from coming home. She had like a heart monitor and some other kind of monitor hooked up to her. So I had a heart monitor on one arm, the car seat in another arm. So I went and sat down and I began to fill out this paperwork. Well, as I was filling out the paperwork, there is this young lady. She's kind of tall, and she's on her way to the restroom in the building. She has a toddler on her hip, a baby in the stroller, and another toddler, looked to be about 4 or 5 years old. And I saw her going into, headed to the restroom. Now, early on, I did not understand, that I was hearing the Holy Spirit. I did not understand what I was hearing, but I heard, now that I know what it is or who it is, it was the Holy Spirit saying, give that lady or that young lady the $100 bill you have in your purse. Now, I said, Lord, this is the only $100 bill I have. I know, right? Not being obedient. So I had to wrestle with that for a little while. So I just sat Still filling out the paperwork, wrestling with that. Like, you gonna get this lady this $100 bill, you know. So, still filling out the paperwork to get my week appointment, to get the appointment. I seen her go down the hallway. Now, the hallway at the Lafayette Health Unit, oh my goodness, big building, huge building. So, the hallway was very long. So I seen her still with the kids in tow walk down the hallway. I never seen this lady talk to anybody else. Never seen the kids interact with anyone else. So I finally finished filling out my paperwork, and I take it up to the lady. She said, do you need formula? I'm like, whew, yes, I need formula. So they take me down this long corridor, this long hallway, and now I'm in another room. Now I'm still sitting in this room. This room had a big picture window over to the left-hand side. I'll never forget. And I see this lady, same 3 kids, walk past the window. Now, I have not given this lady this money. It's still in my purse. I'm still wrestling with that decision. I have a newborn with me. I'm here in the health unit, obviously, because I need the help. I need the money. And still wrestling with the decision. Still wrestling with being obedient. So another lady came in. She gave me 3 cans of the type of formula that my daughter was on. So she said, okay, you can go back up to the front. They'll give you your appointment time and date. So go back up and sit in at the front. Again, long corridor, long hallway. I finally make it up to the front. I sit back down waiting for them to give me my appointment. Now I have the 3 cans of formula. I still have Tele in tow. I have the heart monitor, the breathing machine. I have all of that on me. And I go. The lady called me up. She gave me my appointment. Okay, 2 weeks out. Appointment is 2 weeks out. I said, okay. So I was like, you know what? Now, after all this time done passed by, I finally get the notion to be obedient. As I'm getting the notion to be obedient and get up out of my seat, I see the lady pass by me and walk out of the back doors or the front doors. And now I've packed up all this stuff, walking behind her as I thought. And I know I was walking behind her. She just, she had just left out of the building. I step foot out of the second set of doors, and the lady is nowhere to be found. The lady is nowhere to be found. Those kids are nowhere to be found. She did not get in a car. She did not. And I know because I didn't see her when I reached the second set of doors to get outside. Like, she was nowhere to be found. Like, how did this lady go missing that quick? Like, literally disappeared into thin air. No traces of her and her children, nowhere to be found. I went on the other side of the building. I looked down because there was a bus stop at the front. Went to the bus stop, no lady, no children. Went to the back of the building to see maybe if she had went around the back to go back to the front. No lady, no children, no stroller, no nothing. So myself, just a little bit sad that I wasn't obedient to begin with. A little bit puzzled as to where this lady and her 3 kids were. Just literally just out of my mind. Me thinking to myself, man, I had enough time. I had enough time. Like 30, 45 minutes had passed by since the time I had walked into the health unit. Since the time, I heard the Holy Spirit say, give that lady that $100. Full 30 minutes had gone by. Maybe 45. And I'm saying that to say this. If there is something that you have to do, if there is something that the Holy Spirit has placed on your heart, do it. Do it. Don't give yourself the excuses. Don't rationalize it in your mind. Don't try to get out of it. Just do it. Just move when he says move. Move when he says for you to move. And this was a very valuable lesson for me because I thought I had more time. I thought I had more time to calculate it in my brain. I thought I had more time to say, oh, now I feel good about going ahead and giving her the money. Then I'll go ahead and do it. No. When God tells you to move, when the Holy Spirit puts in your heart and tells you to move, move. Not a second before, and definitely not a minute after. Move. And this is the lesson I learned in that. When I got home, I went and checked the mail. I said, oh, this envelope looks different. Didn't think nothing of it. Was able to get Taylor out of the car, got everything out of the car, got all of our things out of the car, and got to the door, got inside, unpacked all of my stuff, unpacked all of my things, and I began to open my mail. And you would never guess what was in that mail. A $100 check. A $100 check was in the mail. So, God being who he is, a provider, right, had already provided for me. God had already provided. All I needed to do was just be obedient. Only thing I needed to do is be obedient. So if you think you have more time, you don't. Move when God tells you to move and be obedient. And so if you look here, like I was very, 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 very afraid to do this, to get on camera. I wrote it down. Very afraid. Right? And even as I am doing this video and telling you to be obedient and saying to be obedient, is something I'm working on myself, is being obedient. Being obedient to the Holy Spirit, being obedient to hearing and doing, just being obedient. Be obedient.